Wendy's home-style French toast sticks are so delicious, some are saying that they're better than their mom's breakfast.
Excuse me. Did you just say Wendy's French toast sticks are better than my breakfast?
Mom, is that you?
Answer the question.
I said some people are saying that because they're so crispy on the outside and fluffy on the inside and perfect in every way.
Uh-huh. And what do you think?
I think it's time to tell people to choose wisely. Choose Wendy's sweet and crispy home-style French toast sticks.
That's still not an answer.
At participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
You're about to listen to a podcast full of wonder, excitement, and discovery. It's time for an Adventure Through Odyssey. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Adventures Through Odyssey podcast, Odyssey Revisited. I'm Will here with John, and we're going to talk about what I would consider a very low-impact episode of Adventures in Odyssey. King of my heart. Buck tries to ask Jules to the homecoming dance, but someone else has other plans. This is unquestionably one of the best episodes in the last decade, minus 2 scenes.
I think it's a very good episode. I don't know if I go that far, but I think it hits a lot of good highs.
Yes. We'll get to those 2
scenes.
scenes.
You like it so much.
Well, we'll get to those 2 scenes in a minute. And maybe it is just we're here, no more holding it off. There's not an extra twist. We just kind of have it. We just kind of have what they've been building to. And I'll get to the ending in a second. One, I think it works because at the beginning, Buck gives no indication he's about to ask Jules to the dance, so she does not come off as, get away from me, Buck. You know, if Buck was ready to pass out, Jules probably should have taken the hint on that one. But yeah. I think the unintentional physical comedy with Buck attacking Ryan is very funny.
It is funny. The marshmallow is very funny.
Yes.
Though I did find it funny where I'm like, aren't they in the woods at a campfire? Why do they have a fire extinguisher? And then he's like, that's why we always bring a fire extinguisher.
I know. I'd like to think Cooper just... But I will say, this friendship between Cooper and Buck is great, and I'm assuming he's going to join the team at some point, but that's another episode. I think the final scene is really, really good. If there's one thing that torpedoes it, and we'll get to that in a second. To me, the only thing that doesn't work are the 2 scenes with Connie, but I'll let John say his piece.
Well, I agree with you. I think a lot of that's really good. The 2 scenes with Connie are this. This episode, without those, doesn't really have a moral.
I am aware of that, but there could have been... And you know what? I
tried to come up with one. There's definitely one you could find in there.
So actually, there is one thing they could have done, because just in case anyone didn't listen to the episode or is a little lost, Connie is talking about the whole equally yoked, they're both Christians thing. I will say this. She puts Jules in an unfortunate no-win situation where she can't date anybody.
Right. It's weird because she's like, well, she's not a Christian, so... She really shouldn't be dating a Christian because that makes me question whether that's good. Right. Like that Christian's really solid, but then if they're dating a non-Christian, that's bad, right? It's
also a date to the homecoming dance, Connie.
Right, it's a date to the homecoming dance. Thankfully, Katrina comes in and gives an actual good viewpoint on that issue.
I actually did appreciate Katrina saying having a conversation with you is kind of confusing, Connie. Which, I don't know if that was the writers acknowledging it, but to me, that was the acknowledgement of maybe Connie's losing it a bit.
I think Connie's losing it a bit. I think the writers are acknowledging it too. I think it's probably that's going to be the whole next setup. Is that one of the... I don't know if they're going to pull something like...
Vegas Wedding?
No, not a Vegas wedding, but that they're going to pull something like, oh, one of them becomes a Christian and then they break up and like just do the thing that they've done before. Or if it's going to be like one of them becomes a Christian and they date and then eventually one of them, the other one becomes a Christian, but they're still dating, trying to figure that whole thing out during the time. Or there's a really interesting episode where they follow through on the whole, I always forget the guy's name, where he says like, do you want me to like get on my knees and confess something? Like one of them just kind of goes through the motions of being a Christian to do the relationship.
Oh, Jeff Lewis.
Jeff Lewis, yeah.
Thank you. I was so what is he talking about? So I will say my hope they're not doing the Eugene Katrina thing is Katrina told Buck that story.
Yeah, it would just be a little bit like, you're acknowledging you've done this storyline before.
Yeah, so I will admit, it may have worked better if, like, at the end of the whole last Buck arc, Buck says to Eugene, you know, Dad, I want to start learning about Jesus. Just to imply he's going in that direction or something.
Yeah.
So there's that. I am someone who has issues with what I would call the Christian college definition of equally yoked, where I've heard girls say, and I'm not trying to sound bitter, ladies, I promise I'm an exciting person in real life. You know, you're a little too into sports. I don't know if that makes us equally yoked. I don't think you know what equally yoked means when you say
Did
that.
someone say you're too into sports?
Not to me. I overheard this somewhere.
Okay. I was going to say, I don't know who said that to you, but that's just a bold-faced lie.
Maybe this is why I'm still single, because I get into arguments with people about the correct definition of the phrase equally yoked. But, like, if you're going to turn a guy down, just turn him down. Don't try to pull the Bible into it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. I mean, I think the thing is, I think Connie is using the correct definition, all things considered.
She definitely is, and I want to be clear, she is. It's just the way it's been used.
But no, I think it's a very funny episode. I think it's sweet. I think the ending... Okay, they were actually really close to having a cute little rom-com, like, quote scene. Like, they were trying really hard to be like, you know, right now, there's a space...
Yeah, a space between boy and friend in our relationship. Do we want to close the space? At least they didn't call the episode The Space Between Us.
Yeah, like, let me say this. It's a really cute concept. I think they needed to reference it earlier in the episode.
They referenced it pretty early. They needed to reference it a second time, was the bigger thing.
Yeah, like being like, oh, well, he's a boy space friend, but he's not a boy friend. You know, like something like that. I think like could have made it work better, right? And like reference it because it is actually a cute idea for a line. So I'm not gonna fault them too much. But when it came up, I kind of rolled my eyes instead of being like, oh, that's really cute. But it is like actually cute, like thinking back on it. Like it's a more clever idea than I thought they would have done. They know the Buckle fans wanted a cute moment.
Yeah, actually, and I wanted to talk about that with the cute moment. So it's a great moment, but it's torpedoed by immediately Chris coming on and saying, I guess Buckles is official.
This whole album was called Buckle Up because of this.
I know, I was really hoping it wasn't. And if I listen to this episode again, I'll just stop it before Chris comes on. But
yeah, it's like there's no time to rest. But it is then just like Chris is like, however, there will be future problems with the fact that neither of them are Christians. So it's like, okay, but like I guess that teases where it's gonna go. Like, how are they gonna handle a relationship that's not have God in it?
Okay, so John, you are 100% right. I would like to push back. There are going to be fewer issues in this relationship than if one was a Christian and one wasn't.
Right. That's what I find weird about them setting it up that way.
Wendy's home-style French toast sticks are so delicious, some are saying that they're better than their mom's breakfast.
Excuse me. Did you just say Wendy's French toast sticks are better than my breakfast?
Mom, is that you?
Answer the question.
I said some people are saying that because they're so crispy on the outside and fluffy on the inside and perfect in every way.
Uh-huh. And what do you think?
I think it's time to tell people to choose wisely. Choose Wendy's sweet and crispy home-style French toast sticks.
That's still not an answer.
At participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
That way.
So, I mean, I like it. It's a good idea. It's something we really haven't explored outside a couple of failed Connie love stories. So,
yeah, no, I think it's a good place to go from here. But I also think at the same time, I'm a little weary.
Yes. I would agree. If I have to go over some other notes, the scene where Jules is telling Connie Ryan asked her to the dance, and Connie said, I thought you wanted Buck to ask you. I guess to me, there could have been one or two scenes where Jules vocalizes her feelings for Buck towards somebody.
Yeah.
Because we all knew it, just for the kids.
It's weird to me that they made Ryan so perfect.
Oh, I actually loved that as a running gag. Like, the list just keeps getting longer and slightly more ridiculous every time somebody starts talking.
Well, I guess it was meant... I thought then they were going to tie in, like, at the end, like, her more saying, like... And they did kind of, but, like, he's perfect, but I don't want perfect, I want you, or something.
Right, so I don't... I understand the show's for 8 to 12-year-olds. I was a little surprised they didn't do anything to make Ryan come off as a bit of a jerk on the date. Yeah, now, maybe that was so it really impacted when she ran to Buck. It was, it's not because he did something stupid. It's Jules wanted Buck the whole time.
I mean, I would be actually interested if they did an episode with Ryan following up on that somehow. Like, his reaction, like, was I not good enough? Like, that would actually, like, I like the idea they do an episode about that. I feel like Ryan may just fade off.
I am aware. Maybe he helps Mr. Skint escape from prison or something.
That'd be funny. But no, I agree with you. I don't think it was the best episode in a decade. I thought it was... I
said one of.
I know. I think it was a very good episode. Very solid. It's just like... It was I think I could have just had Katrina's thing, and they're kind of like referencing, well, this happened, and so maybe stuff will happen there in the future too. But overall, I was a little like, okay, they're clearly doing this so you could be like, but we know there's issues with this, and those are going to be addressed in future episodes. But for now, have this cute episode.
Yeah, I was also going to mention, much like last week's episode where it felt like two episodes merged into one, this felt like it was maybe a two-parter at one point. I actually appreciate that's a one-parter, but you could totally see one part where it's Buck coming to terms with how he feels about the date, then a second part that's more Buck helping Ryan.
Yeah.
So I know John has to get going, so I do also want to just acknowledge, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be the next album episode, in the summer. They talk about where Eugene is, and he's working on something, quote, exciting. All I'm saying is I don't want to wait through the other 5 episodes of Album 75 to hear whatever this Eugene episode is.
Yeah, I found that interesting too. And I don't know if it's going to be something where it's like, he has to go work on this, like, off somewhere.
Yeah.
Or if it's going to be something dumb where it's like, I made a new invention, but it changed my voice.
I mean, that could work. That Troll Hunter show on Netflix did that.
Yeah, they did do that. Although, I let me say this. I found it funny. There were, like, 2 instances in this episode where it kind of pointed out how odd the whole timeline is.
Do tell.
First... I forget the exact thing, but there was a whole thing about Eugene and Katrina's relationships. Like, we dated for many years.
Yeah, I do know what you're talking about.
Like, they did that, and then, like, they also, like... I feel like it was weird when they talked about, like, it's been so long since, like, I couldn't tell, like, how long has it been since the whole, like, him going to California thing? Because, as a listener, yeah, if he hasn't done anything in real time since that episode, that's a real long time.
Yes,
but in reality, it's probably been a much shorter time in the timeline of the episode.
Right, and I do appreciate that moment is brought up, but it wasn't, like, the linchpin for Jules, because a lot of shows would have made that the we're together now moment.
Yeah, right.
So... there was that. Last thing, what was Jillian doing in Peru?
I wonder if that's going to be a tease for next album too. Like, she's there with Jason.
Yeah, that's possible. It did kind of just feel like a way to write Jillian out of the episode. But I do I do hope we dive more into the Jules going to Jillian for advice and not Connie.
I agree.
Yeah. Also, because I know John has to go, last thing, Odyssey writers, don't be cowards. Have an episode where Connie feels self-conscious about Jules dating, and every ex-boyfriend of Connie returns.
Look, I've stated this before. I just want them to either do an episode where she's not interested. It's like she says, like, I'm just not interested in dating people. I think I'm not going to try to go after someone, or say she's actually trying to find someone.
Yes.
I hate this weird in between. Either say there's going to be something going forward, or it's just not happening. And like there's an episode about like take from Paul about like not getting married, though I think some Odyssey parents would be upset with that. That's
very possible.
Like an episode about singleness, but
yeah,
we'll
see. Yeah, we'll see where it goes. That wraps it up. We'll get back to normal episodes soon. The February news roundup is coming with the Jacobs Report. Dun dun dun. I can't do the sound. Anyway, I'm Will.
I'm John.
We'll see you next time.
This week on RVER, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
That new doctor is drop-dead gorgeous.
Please, he's just another RV League-educated surgeon with good hair.
No, he's different.
Nurses, we got a Class C motorhome with a detached driver's side mirror. Meet me in the OR. Stat.
Right away, doctor.
No, she's on break. I'll handle this one.
Oh, you conniving little...
When your RV really needs saving, Progressive has you covered. See if you could save with a leader in RV insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, covered subject to policy terms.
Wendy's home-style French toast sticks are so delicious, some are saying that they're better than their mom's breakfast.
Excuse me. Did you just say Wendy's French toast sticks are better than my breakfast?
Mom, is that you?
Answer the question.
I said some people are saying that because they're so crispy on the outside and fluffy on the inside and perfect in every way.
Uh-huh. And what do you think?
I think it's time to tell people to choose wisely. Choose Wendy's sweet and crispy home-style French toast sticks.
That's still not an answer.
At participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.